आज हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं अबरार सिद्दीकी साहब, who is the founder and CEO of SarahAI.
The idea to build SarahAI, which is an AI-powered chief of staff for the CEO or the CXO staff, and it's a 24/7 assistant that you can speak over a phone call or you can interact over WhatsApp.
Fascinating story. I love to pick on certain elements of it. Here at Pace Podcast, Abrar 7, we like to understand why a certain individual decides to become an entrepreneur. वो mindset क्या होता है जो आपको drive करता है to do something on your own.
University, you don't learn how to do those things. In fact, I'd tell you, like, even though I was at IBM, I didn't even apply like 20% of what I learned because, we back then in engineering, we learned C, C++, little bit Java and all. At work, I was coding and development, doing a mobile app development, right?
As a student, you're used to having late nights, studying late, doing things on your time. Yes, you have to show up to class, but you're not as organized on a regular basis in terms of deadlines and stuff like that. So in the office space, you get that, and फिर आप जो है उसको implement करते हैं.
If somebody is more creative and a creative person, by definition, struggles with discipline. Because creativity is not like doesn't happen between a 9 to 5 window. It just happens. For some people, it happens late night.
Give us an overview of the problems you are trying to solve and where you are and what are new things that you are personally excited about.
I mean, just to give some context and history, like last year, I built a number of AI advisors and assistants for some government entities. The big one was the UAE Ministry of Finance. We built an AI data advisor.
Assalamu alaikum, Nazreen Asameen. Welcome to Pace Podcast with Hub 47. This is your host Ali Akram. आज हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं अबरार सिद्दीकी साहब, who is the founder and CEO of SarahAI. Abrar, welcome to Pace. Welcome to Hub. कैसे हैं आप?
Thank you, Ali. Assalamu alaikum. And very good to be here. Very excited. I got a little tour and very interesting space you guys are building over here.
This is the first time apparently you visited Pakistan Association.
Yes. I've been in UAE for 4 years, Dubai for 2 years. I've known about it, but I never got an opportunity to make a visit like this. I'm very impressed.
Thank you so much.
Impressive.
I think one of the few institutions here which all Pakistanis are proud of, and whoever comes here for the first time is in awe always. Mashallah, kitna acha setup hai, kitni achhi activities hain. So thank you for coming. Thank you for giving us your time. आप अपना थोड़ा brief introduction दें कि आप कहाँ से आए हैं, क्या किया है, and what are you currently up to?
So originally I'm from Karachi, Pakistan. That's where I did my studying and all. But then I went to Canada to do my engineering degree to Toronto, and I spent majority of my time there. I finished my engineering. Very early got recruited by IBM. Okay. So got on the technology side. Started like that time. Got early on in the whole mobile application space that was coming up, mobile payments. Then spent most time between Canada and US working different companies. Then I started my first startup in payment space. So we started doing mobile payments over Bluetooth.
Achha, over Bluetooth?
Which
year was this?
This was roughly 2011, 2012.
Achha.
So early on. Around the time when the mobile payments were happening, and then we started getting those tap NFC payments.
Yeah.
So we went and built a whole thing on using Bluetooth technology, patented that whole technology, built it out. Our business expanded more in US, and then eventually one of the US group kind of had an acquisition merger with them, and out of that I agreed to stay on as I was a CTO.
Right.
Co-founder and CTO. So I stayed on for 2 more years and had a little exit. Then I thought I was going to take a little break And one of the reasons I also wanted to step away because I want to spend more time with my children and doing that. So it was like summertime was fun when they were home, but when they started going back to school, it was getting a little boring. It was boring, but then my friends who I'd worked with before from IBM, Watson, they called me. They were like, we're putting together a new unit on the AI side of things. And this was roughly 10 years back.
I see. Oh, still pretty new for AI.
Yeah.
Pretty old for AI.
Yeah. So this is, before all this ChatGPT, and now AI is popular. But around that time, yes, I knew that this is like an area of interest, and just purely being in technology, I was very curious about how to go about it. And IBM Watson was one of the bigger names in that thing, because just to share that the first computer that beat there was a chess thing, that was an IBM Watson. That was 2010, by the way, long time back. So that's what they'd worked. So I was like, okay, chalo, let's go and get an opportunity to explore, understand. So that's where I started in that thing, and spent good 4 years there. Then recently, I would say, an opportunity came to come to UAE. So that was roughly 2020, during COVID time. Interesting thing is, I'd never been to Dubai or UAE. These people also, just met over Zoom. So it was, but for me, the multiple thing. One, I wanted to be in this region, puts me closer to Pakistan.
Yes.
I've had some few involvements during this time, and I wanted to be closer, get more involved on things on this side of things. So, like in a way, took a little bit of a risk,
of course,
because those things are very settled. A good job at IBM, Watson, my home, family, everything was there. And being there, a lot of people are even questioning, why are you going to UAE? In fact, when I would say I'm going to UAE, a lot of people won't know what UAE is. But when I say Dubai, people know Dubai. So that was interesting. Yeah, so came here, joined another company here, and I was there leading their engineering team as VP engineering, build their engineering team, did a number of things. And now recently, it's been 3-4 months. So this year, we started my second startup, SarahAI, where we're building an AI-powered chief of staff, but focus on the SME, small businesses, and giving them the power of AI that is available to large companies and enterprises. So this one is more, it's kind of linked to my last one as well, but I have a very strong feeling with this the change that's unfolding, making sure the small businesses and SME sector is able to access this in an affordable and accessible manner that works for it, especially in our region. This region, our MENA region, our emerging markets, Africa, Southeast Asia. But starting from here, that's our focus.
Excellent. I mean, fascinating story. I love to pick on certain elements of it. Or here at Pace Podcast, Abrar 7, we like to understand why a certain individual decides to become an entrepreneur. वो mindset क्या होता है जो आपको drive करता है to do something on your own. I think you started off from university. Did you start working at a company first, or did you directly
go? Worked at 2 places. I was at IBM first, then I was at Accenture.
Okay.
So I was, and while I was at Accenture, from there, my first startup, it's called Lakova, that started from there.
Interesting. So what made you take that leap of faith, jump? Was it people who you already knew who were starting this, and that gave you confidence? Yeah, शुरू से ही था कि यार अपना कुछ करना है.
I would say, for me, personally speaking, my father was an entrepreneur and a business person. So there was always that thing inherently. And, as growing up, there was a version where, just like most traditional business owners, I would have gone into that business, essentially. But that was like a very boring oil and petroleum business.
Acha.
My interests were more on the computers and engineering and coding and all at that time, and I studied. So, number of things happened for me, and I was actually doing some very interesting work, even from a work perspective. But no, I would say, everybody they chart their own path. But now, because when I speak to younger people and upcoming entrepreneurs, I would say it's always a good idea to spend 1 or 2 years in a large company or any company, because that's where you learn a lot of discipline, skills. Because when you're doing your own thing, there is nobody's checking on you.
Yes.
It's all about self accountability, and it's very easy to get lost in things or in a way. So at least spending a couple of years in if you get a good opportunity, it at least gives you that framework, because in university you don't learn how to do those things. In fact, I'd tell you, like, even though I was at IBM, and I didn't even apply like 20% of what I learned, because we back then in engineering we learned C, C++, little bit Java and all. At work I was coding and development, doing a mobile app development, right? So now that I've seen the current that they're more accurate, up to date, but at least in my case, computer engineering, they build you that foundation.
Yes.
So university gives you a lot of foundation. But then if you spend, like, I would say, a couple of years, that gives you that foundation in terms of how professional work is done.
Yeah.
And small thing, how to respond to an email.
Yeah.
What are just a very simple thing, which I know people in this would struggle, just the fact that you have to get up at 9 a.m. either to join a Zoom meeting or to go to an office. And just so you start building that, like your memory muscle around these things. And I think discipline comes from practice, right? So same thing, in sports, if you have to practice regularly. It's like I heard this thing, like, people see what happens on a game day. What they don't see is months and months of rigorous practice.
I think this is something that I faced as well when I came into my professional life. It was like a complete relearning process, retraining process. As a student, you're used to having late nights, studying late, doing things on your time. Yes, you have to show up to class, but you're not as organized on a regular basis in terms of deadlines and stuff like that. So in the office space, you get that, and फिर आप जो है उसको implement करते हैं, उस पर practice करते हैं. As you said, you build muscle memory around it. So I went through the same thing exactly, but again, it's fascinating कि शुरू से याद नहीं आता था कि ये एक theme निकलती आ रही है कि your father was an entrepreneur, so maybe you had it in your mind as well. I learned something, but then I had to start something of my own, and that has come out in a few cases. And in a few cases, yes, the people are more disruptive in nature, by nature, shayad, and they want to just go ahead and figure out something new. But technology and the places that you have applied yourself in tech and AI now, you need that enterprise perspective.
Yeah, no, and the other thing I would say, like, again, since you asked me as a question person, like, I was always creative. So I also think entrepreneurs are people who are creative. Essentially, you're creating a product, creating a company, creating a service. So if somebody is more creative, and a creative person by definition struggles with discipline, because creativity is not like doesn't happen between a 9 to 5 window. It just happens. For some people, it happens late night.
Yeah.
For some people, it happens weekend and all. So if, in a way, I would say, and those people actually struggle in a traditional workspace. So it's kind of like, and by the way, I also feel like now there's nothing, it's not like we shouldn't say like, it's not a black and white thing, what's good and bad. It's something for someone to understand, like, if you actually like structure, you like some predictability and all, which is all good, that there's a whole set of people who would operate better in that way.
Yeah.
If that's the thing, and then it's better to stay in a more traditional enterprise type of place. But if you are you think you are a creative person, which means like, and starting from like somebody who makes art, music, videos. If you think you're that guy who enjoys making TikTok videos or Instagram videos, and that's what you enjoy doing, and things that you would do irrespectively, and anywhere you have creativity. So that is, I think, a basic element of an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're going to be creating a product or a service, multiple products and services. And in fact, as your thing grows, you'll be, exploring different markets, exploring different opportunities, different partnerships. So there's an element of creativity, and it's outside of the bounds. Again, there's a lot of training and schools and disciplines around this, but essentially, that's why when we see certain examples, we say, "Oh, this person managed to do that thing," and it's not like that person had some additional talent. It's because they applied something in a very creative manner. So that's why that theme.
I think I didn't know this earlier, but you mentioned that you actually patented your fintech technology, right? So that I think to be able to get a patent, you need to have some sort of thing जो किसी ने पहले combination नहीं apply किया होगा.
I think yes. So that's in the tech startup world. Obviously, there's a big question around, what's the unique value that you're bringing.
It's not easy to prove that for a patent application, especially.
So I think when we were working, it wasn't intentional, but as we were creating a different payment experience.
Yeah.
So previously it was more like, you could do a barcode or you can tap to do a payment. We use the Bluetooth technology to connect your phone to the point of sale system. As we looked into that, nobody had done it. And it was also, by the way, over there, my business partner was the CEO. He came from more of the patent and what you call
IP.
IP background, and also he was also more inclined towards that. And we looked into it, we explored, like, okay, it doesn't exist, so we went through it, and so it gave our startup like a certain edge, which attracted interest, attracted investors, especially at that time. So I'm talking about, this is 2014, 15 time, when payments were a new area, and we were working on that.
I think payments is something that's going to stay embedded and a very important part of the whole ecosystem, whichever time we're talking about. Aaj bhi jo hai, we get so many new startups just focused on payments, and it just is a big addressable market which always will require innovation, and I think experientially new stuff needs to come up all the time. So very interesting space there.
Now we're going more on the payments, but now what I'm seeing is there's a convergence between payments and crypto.
Yes.
Crypto world. And recently, I think for last few events that happened, crypto has been accepted by most, at least here in UAE. Crypto, they've been pretty bullish on it. Even Pakistan, there's a Pakistan Crypto Council. I saw an announcement about, I think Pakistan is also making their Bitcoin reserve, which is a new thing. So cryptos received, I think I would say 4 or 5 years back, people are staying, on the government level, people are staying. It's been, now it's been understood that it's there. That is the next.
I think it's very fascinating, jo unka initiative had to utilize excess electricity that is available in Pakistan to dedicate some of it towards crypto mining, crypto processing. I think that'll be a very interesting direction that is going on right now. Yahan pe bhi you were mentioning, there's a startup called Fuse, if you've heard of them.
Yes,
they're the ones enabling OTC transfers into crypto, and they're actually running the backend for Viewit, and a lot of the main exchanges are working with them. And again, based in Abu Dhabi, I think has a Pakistani co-founder as well. So interesting.
No, there's a lot of activity, and it's basically what's coming is from a crypto perspective. It just there's a whole element of democratization of payments. It moves quickly, and so that the entire crypto use case has, I think, it's come around from an adoption perspective, and especially from a UA perspective. So they've been working on it for last, I would say, few years, like 4 or 5 years. There's actual regulation here, and one of the advantages, I would say, and what I find about UAE, I've been here 4 years, they're like from on the top leadership level, like they're always looking at where things are going and how we can bring it in, how we can develop a ecosystem, and they've been ahead of this thing. Even on AI side of things, they've been operating on this. So, I always say, like, before this whole chat GPT, because a lot of people have jumped into this space, I would say, since 2022, 2 years.
Yes.
So, I define AI kind of like, pre-chat GPT and post-chat GPT. But UAE had an AI minister since 2016.
Yes.
First country to have an AI minister.
Yes.
Before any of this stuff.
That's true. That's true. I mean, big credit to them, policy-wise, initiative-wise, even implementation-wise. They've always been ahead, and they've always, I think, as you said, from the top, there's always interest and a lot of incentive and push towards this. I mean, they promoted the young individuals to the levels of ministers and executive positions as well. And they enabled all of this to happen. So big credit to them, and I think they'll reap that benefit in the years to come. आपका भी जो shift है from Canada to the UAE, we've seen that shift coming from all across the world. People, talent, human capital, brain power is moving to the region, and I think in the next 5-6 years you'll see a lot of interesting stuff come out.
No, I think there's multiple reasons. But personally I mean, multiple reasons for this. I would say number one, the region, especially when you talk about UAE, is a safety, security, given what's going on everywhere else. It's a tax-free environment that attracts people. There's a lot of opportunity. So there's multiple reasons. But personally, when I started SarahAI, I made a very conscious decision to do this from here in Dubai, UAE itself, while I had option to, my previous one and from Canada, US, which would be natural places. But UAE, one, the policy framework, the leadership, the way they're enabling things, they're moving fast. So that's a big differentiator. And secondly, I think just the other part would be like, being here. When you're sitting in UAE, you have 2/3 of the global population within 5 hours of you. So this is a good place to center your, start from here, and accessibility. Like you can, that's unmatched from a location perspective in that way.
Let's shift the conversation over to your, we want to derive learnings from your experience. आप एक startup को लेके गए. Obviously, you mentioned the qualities of an entrepreneur. You mentioned creativity. You mentioned DNA to a certain extent. But that helps you start things. That helps you take your product to the initial, let's say, MVP. But then to scale and to be able to then exit. Take us through that perspective. Okay, what are the things? What are the qualities? What are the what is their secret sauce, if you may, required over there to achieve that?
It's a good question. Quite honestly, I'll say there's no science behind it. It's an art. There's a lot of ecosystems developed around how people are, trying to explain all of these things. So every startup or every founder has their own, they have a unique element, what their journey has been, what their product has been.
Yeah.
So you can take lessons from, obviously, where some of the successful examples, and apply it to your market, your reality. But one thing, at least from my experience, I would say is you need a lot of patience. It's about patience, perseverance, and being persistent.
Mm.
So those are the three elements, because it's like a roller coaster. It's like a high speed roller coaster. So it takes a toll, by the way. From experience, I can tell you it does take a toll on your mental health.
Yes.
The physical health as well. And you go through those things because, especially a founder or a startup founder or an entrepreneur, it's like I would say it's a lonely space. Because the challenges you're dealing with, you cannot share them with your team members, because if you do that, you'll scare them. You cannot go to your investors because,
You freak them out.
So it's always a thing, like, you want to talk, you will do that. So, but I would say this is where, mentors, advisors, like the place you have here, Hub 47, these spaces play a very active role. So you need these safe places where you can come, share your challenges. And quite honestly, I'm doing this now second time, and I advise and I consult some of the young startups myself. It is just like anything. If you can just talk about a challenge with someone, half the issue is resolved over there. Because when you start talking about it, and a lot of times, I'll tell you from right now I'm in the situation. I have a couple of very strong advisors around me, people who've had either running their own businesses or have had very, very successful exits. And at times, when I panic, I just need, I just need to have that little phone call, and they just reassure me, or they give some ideas, or they do that thing. So I would say, yes, surround yourself with a good set of mentors, advisors, whatever category, whatever is available. Understanding also, you have to be careful, what background they're coming from. So, not to pick on anything, but if you're a startup, it might sound like some big bank executive is a good thing, but I would say they're not the right exec, because they don't know what it is in and out. So find people, even you don't need a banking payments person. You somebody who's built an e-commerce business would be a better suited for you. So don't mix the domain with the skill set. And being I say this very openly, lot of people in certain big companies with certain VP or CXO type of title, in an early stage they might not be relevant, because they have a very different lens as looking at problems. They have a large pool of people. For them, they have very different problems. Compared to you as a 4 or 5 person startup who's just trying to get something out. So here, I think people who've been involved in the ecosystem on multiple ends,
I think that's exactly the objective. One of the main objectives of Hub 47 is to create this pool of mentors who are accessible, who are relevant. I think relevance बड़ा ज़रूरी एक term है. We hope that you are now a part of that pool as well for people, inshallah. But uska access में होना, as you said, unbiased opinion, unbiased sounding board hona. We aim to create a network of founders as well, so they can talk to each other. Inshallah, that's one of the key objectives that we have, and that just adds a lot of value to your journey as well.
But one thing I'll say here is look, advisors, mentors, and all, they just including they will give you advice, input, because the stake is not for them. No matter what people say, at the end of the day, you are the decision maker, and you can take opinions and all, but I would say just go with what makes sense to you.
बहुत अच्छी बात की आपने. That's true. I think you need decisiveness. Let's add that. Patience, perseverance, decisiveness is there. but be open to ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That all of that really adds to the fact whether you're successful or not.
Yes.
Um, so, did you think that you would sell your first startup when you did? That this happened organically.
When no, even when you're establishing certain things, there's always you got to have an idea what the exit plan going to strategy, especially if you're involving investors.
Yes.
So whenever we're building, that's where it goes. You go through multiple valuation rounds.
Yes.
And looking at what the thing would be getting it. So in my first example, it was more like, yes, we came across a certain group and there was a new structure was developed,
right,
which gave me an opportunity to have a small exit. The company is still running,
right,
in that area, but that's always the case. Even right now, when we're building it, so there's always, yes, you can take two paths where you like, okay, I can get this going, and if it's a good running business versus a thing. But these are the things one has to understand. Like, if you want to, then it's called more like a lifestyle business, which has a whole different thing. Then you want like should be very clear, and then there's very different type of investors. Then you're looking more like partners and people who are going to be financially involved, and they're going to be getting a certain dividend out of your running business. But if you're doing like a investment driven or like a VC driven startup, that one, the goal over there is always, yes, you're going to build to a certain point and get your investors 10x to 10 to 20x return. And that's why, it is one of the most, you're in this space, this is the most riskiest investment class. It's not for everyone. And even right now, whenever I'm doing these things, there's an interest. And I always say, like, look, you're better off buying a couple of apartments in Dubai, you get a 10% return. Like, why are you coming? Don't invest in me. Because but yes, here you're going to get a return. Because there is no real estate, nothing will give you a 10x return or potentially a 20x return.
True.
So if you are okay with that thing, where it could go 10 times, also lose it all. So you just need to make sure you have that understanding and appetite, because that is a reality, and knowing the math and the probability, even at an early stage, 80% chances of going zero.
Yes.
So if you're okay and comfortable with losing whatever the amount is, and at early stage we're not talking a big amount.
Yes.
But on the VC side, I mean, that's a whole business model.
Yeah.
Because they operate on that model that 60% will 60% of their startups are not going to give them anything. To like 20% will give them something moderate, like at least get them return. But they're looking for that one or two that will give it to, and that balances the portfolio. So you need to have that understanding when you are building it, and it also changes which stages you are on as you move towards advanced stages.
So you had your first exit. You went back to working with IBM again, and that was to get into this new space. At that time, artificial intelligence. Was it more artificial intelligence? Yeah, was it machine learning, big data? How would you classify it at that stage?
That stage was more, so IBM Watson, the team I joined was more on the consulting side of things.
Right.
It was more implementing the product with the large clients that we had, which is banks. One of our largest clients was Canadian National Railways. We did a very interesting project around vision, AI, and developing it in that space. For me, it was, and I'm talking here like, that time, 2017, 16, where this IBM Watson, there was IBM Watson, Microsoft was there. They had a few products in that space early on, and there was deep learning was a big thing. You're right, machine learning, data science. So these are all things emerging in that way. This whole Gen AI hadn't.
I think it was more. They used to call it intelligence more than artificial intelligence. People were very wary of using artificial intelligence as a terminology before, as you said, pre-chat GPT.
Yeah.
It was insights, intelligence.
Technically, if you go really in the details, the AI as a thing has been there since 1960s.
Yes.
So the term artificial intelligence was derived around that time, and it comes down to that. But no, so for me, that time was getting involved, and the opportunity was more like I was like, okay, if I want to really understand how AI works, let's go and figure it out. That was one. Secondly, actually, it was my really good old friend, one of my closest friends. He called me, and he was actually leading the team.
I see.
And he said, like, I need you to come and help me with this. So he's one of those people I can not refuse. And also, I wasn't doing anything. So, I didn't have too many excuses. I only told him, look, I want to spend, because in our consulting business, this is before, there's a lot of travel.
Yeah.
And my last, before that, for my last startup, majority of 80% of business was in US. I was traveling a lot.
Yeah.
And also, my only thing was look, I'll only travel once a month. As long as you're okay on that, I'll do this. And yeah, so it was good. And it was really good experience getting involved, getting the opportunity to work with some of the largest bank, and who were early on taking a lot of risk and chance on technology which was still evolving right now.
I think जो recent shift है, जो recent जो watershed moment है, that has generally come out of the onset of large language modules and models, and ability for me and you to talk to a computer in human language rather than things being coded. So back end feature, you knew all of that. What has changed now is how you interact with those systems and how they're able to respond to you as well. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah. I think we call this an inflection point.
Yes.
So every technology goes through, ups and downs. There's a hype and all. But no, this got everybody, even the people around at OpenAI. OpenAI had a very different mission.
Yes.
OpenAI was a research company. And what a lot of people don't understand, they developed this generative LLM. So this is a version I'd seen, GPT 2.2. So there was a version 2.2, and it could do certain things, but it was very difficult for them to show what the capabilities are. So then they made this Chat GPT was kind of by the way, it was a demo. So it was a demo type of thing, so that they can say okay, these are the capabilities. What happened was when this is in 2022, GPT 2.1, 2.5 or close to that version, they made it available. It just went viral. So, and that's I think there's some number, I don't know exactly, but it got like 10 million downloads, the shortest possible time. So even those people, and nobody was ready.
Yes.
So they were like, okay, what do we do now? Now, and there was a lot of controversy, even there was a lot of shake-up. And, as soon as something becomes viral and important, that happened. But while that happened, on the enterprise side, on the companies, the other thing that happened, all the CEOs, they were like, okay, what is this new technology? I don't understand. Because everybody was using it. So them plus the board, they were like, okay, there is this Chat GPT thing. AI is the thing. What are you doing about AI? This is a big question that was coming in all the large companies, big and small, everywhere. If you're doing a bank, if you're an investment company, retail company, the question was being asked and nobody had the answer. So a good part of, I would say, 2020 was when they were naturally turned to CTO or whoever the technology person is. And they were like, hey, and it was not a question. They're like, I want you to do something with AI because before my next quarterly meeting, because I need to go back to the board and show I'm doing this for AI. So there was a lot of, so 2022 was more like, there were people did POCs, they'd like to do it in some way, and 90% of it didn't work. Because, if you don't understand something and you don't have the basic fundamentals, magic's not going to just happen. Especially, I would say, and I've seen this here working with some of the large banks and all, because if you don't have your data, your data layer sorted out, if you don't have the basics, if you don't have any data, you can't get AI.
Yes.
If you never made those investments, which again, I would say your IT companies, the tech people were telling you, but you were not listening. So that was all. There's a lot of chaos that happened, and this is where I would say, on the enterprise side, there was a mismatch in expectations. They were like, because claims were made, okay, we're doing this with AI technology, but there are no results. How can you have results? Because you never made those investments around cloud, around data, around digitization,
Yes.
Whatever things you did were just, like a check mark type of things. You said, we've launched a mobile app, now we're digital. That's not digital. Just because and it's not even like a proper mobile app. So I've seen a lot of these cases in that way. So there's a lot of up and down the hype, but I would say now we're in that space where, in fact, from a SarahAI perspective, we're operating, called the agentic AI space.
Yes.
Developing those AI agents. And things have been moving fast, and a lot of, I would say, people are adapting them in the right way. Some people are just reacting to them.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of activity that is happening.
Fascinating. I mean, I'm very keen to understand myself, what are the new possibilities? As you said, board ne to pucha hoga sabse, but still, that whole theme of inclusion, democratization of technology. I think this will enable a lot of the smaller players to provide a service that is comparable to the bigger players as well, right? Because you're enabling so much efficiency and effectiveness for SMEs, for general, new players, new entrants, to deliver a higher quality, a higher level of product to their customers. So where do you see the biggest shifts happening in this space? आपने agentic AI की तो बात की, but then are there certain sectors where it's going to come first and give immediate value?
I think it's like one of those once in a generation transformative change. It's going to affect every single area. It all depends where there's a level of maturity, in the sense what touches the economy more, in the sense. So we know, it starts from a financial services perspective, because everybody consumes them. So there's a lot of work that's happening around improving your customer service,
yes,
and putting things over there, improving, being able to offer certain products in a way. I would say the legal space, that's been, where there's a lot of paperwork involved, and UAE, I'll bring up, they've done a very interesting thing, adopting that in a way. Like a couple of months back, they passed law. Now the UAE council is using AI to generate new legislation, which is one of the first countries doing that. So they're saying it's going to make them 70% faster.
And I remember, I think I saw this, and they also were using AI to identify contradictions between laws, because usually this happens a lot. You have one law and another law that contradicts or creates conflict.
So anywhere there was a lot of things which are very resource intensive, which required a lot of going through documents. There's a lot of process, which means you need a lot of people, because there's a process. It requires a lot of manpower, which is not humanly, you can't scale it. So a lot of those things are getting unlocked.
Yes.
This, you can gain speed, gain advantage over there. I just saw recently, this is like a couple of days back, the UAE Media Council has passed certain directives around influencers and media people, to follow certain guidelines that how, around fake news, around news that puts UAE or other places doesn't follow our our ethics, our religion, but they put all these directives, but they're going to be using AI now to track, like, look into this, right? Because one, like, how are you going to track all this? What are you going to put 1,000 people to look at every single like TikTok and Instagram video? Like, that's not possible, right? So in that way, but Ali, to your point, I'll say, like, look, my view is now one of the big difference is intelligence has become accessible. So when you look at AI, there is a lot that can be done. So we are in this phase where a 10-person company with the right combination of human plus AI can outcompete a 100-person traditional company, which is either slow or not really adapting well. So there is a lot of opportunity for, I would say, for entrepreneurs, for startups, for, I would say, smaller organizations. Because now there's a big unlock on scalability, and as long as they use the right combination, So I want to be very careful. I'm not saying, like, this is not like AI is going to take over thing, but it is a very, very, and it will remain like that, a collaborative, what we call human plus AI or man plus machine type of world. If you're comparing with a large 1,000, 2,000 person organization, which has to maintain that workforce and all, and for whatever reason they cannot do these things. So there's an opportunity. And personally, I look at from a global lens. When I look at UAE, it's a very small country. 11 million people. A lot of people are coming, but we cannot realistically. UAE's population is never going to. I think in the region, we will remain one of the smaller countries.
Yes.
But UAE as a smaller country, when we put the goals, I am making, my bold prediction is that UAE in next, all of Europe combined, UAE will be ahead of it. So when we look at, it'll be like US, China, UAE, like Saudi and UAE neck to neck. But in few years to come, and there's going to be a day when it comes and it's just going to go ahead. And so I would say entire Europe, Germany, US, France, combined with all their population, and I don't know the exact number, but I think it's somewhere few hundred millions. So as a small country, and that's why we're making a lot of investments. I'm very bold and seeing what they're doing. So with a very small population, but giving this population, the companies that capability, we are now in a very strong position to outpace, and I'll just stay shy of China and India, but the opportunity is there. There is a future where I would say, at least now, we can at least very cleanly imagine that we can get to that space, and we don't
need all those people.
We don't have the people, right? We don't have that man force. We don't have China's man force. We don't have India's man force and things like that. But the opportunity is there. We in the future.
I think very interesting, especially also with the whole backdrop of AI and computing requiring a lot of energy. This region has access to that, whether it's nuclear, whether it's petrochemicals. That's not a limiting factor for them, whereas it might be for other people. I don't know if you followed the recent development around Stargate, UAE, huge complex. So scary numbers, very fascinating. I mean, the entire UAE, 11 million people, as I said, are utilizing 3.5 gigawatts of electricity. And apparently this infrastructure will add another 5 gigawatts, 1.5
5 gigawatt.
So
this is a big one.
Big one, huge.
This is the first biggest data center its kind outside of US.
Yes.
And this is one of those major investments that is being done, which creates, again, So you can imagine, like, being in here, UA, like, we are, and the companies that are based out of here, we're going to have direct access to something that's keeping our data safe, local, and accessible, and have some capability, which, I think we are here. They're doing something similar in Saudi.
Yes.
They have a whole another project called Humane, which is also 900 million project. The UA one is much bigger. It's like a 1.4 trillion dollar project with 5 gigawatts. So this region, either you can say UA or Saudi, between the two, there's outside of US, the opportunity, I would say outside of US and China. So when you say, like, when I look at globally things, either you're in US or China or here. There is no, like, there's no fourth option at this point, and I don't see it happening in short time as well.
Very interesting. You touched on a point on keeping your data local. Obviously, there's a lot of this technology is moving so fast, and there are always people who sometimes don't understand it and sound alarm bells. That this is risky. This is that. People will be unemployed. So many things that are around AI, which are like ethical considerations. But from the perspective of someone who actually understands the space, how much of it do you actually subscribe to? How much of it is actually real concerns that we need to address as humans interacting with the machines? What do you think about all of that?
One of the things I would say is, look, nobody who has, sounded an alarm has done anything great. So I don't subscribe to any of that stuff. It's just people are, those people are just looking for attention, quite honestly. I'll give another example. When this is like happened over almost 120 years back, when cars were coming in.
Yeah.
So in the US Congress, they actually passed a law around this whole thing where, they didn't want cars coming on the roads because there was a concern about, what's going to happen to all the horses, carriage drivers, where all those jobs. So, if you take yourself back in that mindset, there are no cars, there are carriage horse, those are the guys who do this, and then there's horses, people who manage those horses. There's a whole industry around horses and carriage driven, right? And all of a sudden you're saying this automatic machine without any horses going to come in. So there are people who's in there, they were very concerned. And they passed laws. Literally, you can look it up. It's a very interesting one. There were laws passed against using cars on roads, which were actually done that, right? And people were concerned. But what happened? Obviously, cars were risky. 1 out of 10 cars would blow up. There was a lot of risk around it. So, this is like, these are the things that were going on in that way. So, just think about it, like, you're putting this liquid in some machine that might even kill you. Why would you use it? At least, horses don't blow up.
Yeah.
So, if we go by that logic, we should be using horses.
Yeah.
Why are we using cars? Right? So all of that happens. So there are obviously alarmist people who will look at it from that perspective, and I think they have their job. I would say, I put myself in a different category. We do our work, we move on, we take the risk. Either we'll come through, but more than likely the chances are we'll be on the day. And then if another way to look at it is, if this wasn't something clear, like why would like some of the most powerful people in our region, from Saudi side, Mohammed bin Salman, Crown Prince Mohammed Salman, here, our president, His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, they have a lot of smart people and around them.
Yeah.
Why are they risking their capital, their hard-earned oil-backed capital into these projects?
True.
Like, and they're not putting some small amount of money.
Huge.
They're putting they're making investments. Those are many countries, multi-year budgets are not even that size, right?
Yes.
So why are they doing this? Must be a reason.
Correct. I think also the argument around people losing their jobs and a whole segment becoming unemployed. I personally don't subscribe to that. Yes, you will have a lot of retraining required maybe of the workforce. Again, going back to the fact that, as you said, there will probably be more companies who have less employees, but more companies, more economic activity, which is enabled by technology through AI, through whatever systems and technology you're using. You'll have more happening than less. And if there's more happening overall, then more people will generally be employed and doing some sort of work or getting some sort of income. It doesn't mean that you don't need an executive assistant anymore, as in your case. It doesn't mean that that person wouldn't have something else to do.
No, I think, look, the nature of work keeps on changing.
Yeah.
What technology does, it just brings a certain shift in how work is done in that way. So, yes, there are different roles coming in with the technology. So, it will be, the evolution happens around the nature of work. One thing that I say, it's not AI is not taking your job, it's the people who are using AI will take your job. And we've gone through these shifts. I'll pick another example, from we're doing this podcast here, but from a media perspective. Previously, they were actually, television show producers, proper journalists and everything. Yeah. But because we got this whole social media going on and, we can debate on the merits of it, but it's made accessible, a whole class of, there's a whole, occupation, job category around influencers.
Yes.
They're not small in numbers. There's a whole category, the big and small, every place. In UAE, in Pakistan, in all the parts. And when there's one influencer, you have to realize there's a whole team around them. Yes. There's a video guy, there's a editor guy, there's a person, somebody, community manager. So all these people, they've developed. And from a traditional perspective, some people have gone into that model. Some people have stuck where they're doing it, right? Yeah. So there's still newspapers are being written, printed. They have a very different model now, right? They've adapted. New York Times is now available at $1 a day subscription to everyone.
Yes.
If they want to.
Yeah.
Before that, you had to buy that thing. Here in this region, our newspapers and all, they're more advertisement driven. So, and they have a very different model. So it works that way. So the AI technology is basically just another evolution. And my only take on that is if this is a time to get in, start understanding it in your own context, whatever the piece of work you're doing, and don't think that this is a hype cycle or something that will go away. And in many areas, there's increase your productivity. One of the things we know already, I'll quote one of the studies that has been done across the enterprise space. We are part of that group at SarahAI. AI is already helping productivity increase of anywhere 30 to 40%. And you're talking about what we're building, this executive assistant or chief of staff.
Yeah.
But the main idea is that it is kind of not everyone can afford one.
Yes.
I mean, if you have cheapest $1,500 a month, or locally speaking, you need at least 5,000-6,000 dirhams a month person, which only, by the way, only works during certain working hours. So it is it is someone that can come and start helping you, and the idea is to take away all this admin work because so that you're more productive on more creative things.
So let's focus a little bit on SarahAI as well. Give us an overview of the problems you are trying to solve and where you are and what are the new things that you are personally excited about?
Yeah, I mean, just to give some context and history, like last year, I built a number of AI advisors and assistants for some government entities. The big one was the UAE Ministry of Finance. We built an AI data advisor.
Right.
So while I was doing all these large projects, people in my circle, some business owners, entrepreneurs, they were coming to me. They're like, Abrar, we want to use something like this. We want to do this. So here and there, I would help them. I would go and put something together using Claude and ChatGPT and all those things, and tell them kind of like, okay, this is what you can do. Get this thing built.
Yeah.
When I was saying, then they would come back to me. They're like, Abrar, okay, we can't find someone to build it. Then I will even go find them the person who could build it. Then they would be like, okay, this is too expensive. So I was running into these situations where there were people who wanted certain things, but the thing that was coming again and again to me was, one, it was not very easy to get this done.
Yeah.
Because we're not talking about like a mobile app and all. Like there's limited people have that skill. Secondly, it was becoming very expensive. So from a small business perspective, or from an entrepreneur running a very traditional business, especially here. So I was like, okay, like, where the opportunity? So I looked at it from that perspective. Talking to a lot of then business owners and I think so. Few themes emerge that they struggle with task management, delegation. There's a lot of things on their plate. They're also working in certain structures, and in our region, the work happens on WhatsApp and over the phone. It's not a very they're not using certain enterprise systems or project management systems or task management system. That was the thing. They use certain things which would come in the emails and all. Handling customers sometimes becomes a little bit chaotic. In that way, there's a lot of expectations on service. So, on one hand, they want to increase their business, but to do that when they need resources, it's difficult in that way. One of the challenges that small business SMEs face, I think it's global, is access to people. Like most of the resources, they would rather go work at a bigger company. And a lot of times, and they know this. So this is one of the challenge that every SME business owner has. Like they would have someone, they would come work with them, but after a couple of years, when they're ready and trained, if they get a call from an opportunity from a large company, MasterCard, ENBD, First Abu Dhabi Bank, any Dubai government or UAE government entity, why would they not go, right? That's a very natural thing, right? And that's so they're always working with, either they're working with talent who doesn't have the skill or the talent which might depart.
Yes.
And so they shared a lot of those things, right? So through those themes, what emerged was the idea to build SarahAI, which is an AI-powered chief of staff for the CEO or the CXO staff, and it's a 24/7 assistant that you can speak over a phone call, or you can interact over WhatsApp. Available in all the languages that are there. It understands right now, as it stands, it can understand all the different languages: English, Arabic, Urdu, Hindi. In coming days, we'll make it even conversational, those languages. Right now, it's in English, and it connects with your calendar, your email, which whatever Gmail, Outlook, where it sits, and then starts optimizing the information that's sitting in those areas, and as things are coming and making your life easier through some of those instances, so that as you're going out and about doing a business, the thing that you don't have to worry about is like a schedule management, delegating task, knowing where things are from a task perspective, and we're evolving it over coming time, adding CRM systems like HubSpot, Zoho, finance systems, QuickBooks, accounting systems, payment systems, Stripe.
Okay.
So there's a whole roadmap that
So
we're working on.
basically, SarahAI will then be able to access all of that data and give you the CEO or the business owner insights or immediate recall of something that you want to.
Yeah. The main idea is like, look, the use cases, like when you're sitting in your office, like, you have access to these things, you're doing those things. But business owner, or, when you're out and about, where your job is, you're meeting with your customers, clients, you're interacting with them, right? For the most part.
Yeah.
And when you need information, which right now happens for anyone, right? If you're out there, you need something, you call one of your, either you're calling your business partner or somebody at the office.
Yes.
During reasonable times, right?
Yeah.
And then from a business, here that also happens like pretty late and all. Or you can bring up some information, or if there's a mobile app available from that perspective. So it's kind of like taking that whole experience and creating this very human-like digital experience around that, which is available to you 24/7 and which you can share. It's an AI-powered system, so it's private to you. Unlike a person, you can also discuss many things, get bounce ideas, and it's connected to.
It's very conversational. It is like.
Yeah, it is a conversation. My focus very much is. You asked me about this earlier, so where I am actually very excited about all the development we have making in the voice technology, voice AI, to make it very, very natural, human-like. I think I showed this to you earlier.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. And for me, it's kind of like, when I'm talking to someone, just a little bit like, everybody has their own way of conversation. So like what I'm pursuing it, kind of like I would mix English and Urdu. Some people would, there's mix Arabic and English. So for a system to understand this. So right now, by the way, I have to tell it, okay, where technology is kind of like, if I set it up to Arabic, then it will become it. But things start getting trickier when you start mixing language.
Yeah.
Things get trickier even sometimes for people, right? Because in that way. So the idea is, for me, it's kind of like, look, there's a certain way I speak. It's a certain mix of English and Urdu. Like when I'm talking on a technical thing, I would use English. But I've come across people who want to speak in their native language about certain topics.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, that's the expectation. Like, talk to me in my language.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
I can imagine myself. यार सारा ये बताओ कि अबरार के साथ कितने बजे मीटिंग सेट थी?
हाँ.
So it will.
And what we're developing is I'm looking at this this is like a McKinsey trained, Harvard, MBA, MIT, PhD person who knows your business, understands you, and speaks to you in your tone. तो आप पंजाबी में आप उससे बात करें कि मैंने पंजाबी में बिजनेस एक्सपेंशन करना है, मुझे आप बता के दो. तो
I think Hub 47 could become one of your clients as well. We could definitely use a executive assistant. हम जो है ना, during our meetings we always talk about hiring someone called a छोटू, जो बस gatekeeper of information का, और जब कुछ करना हो तो उससे पूछा जाए कि हाँ ये कहाँ है, ये क्या है, ये किधर है. So fascinating. I think it would be very exciting to see how it develops और किस तरफ चलता है ये. And definitely wish you all the best as well in your journey with your second project. In terms of your journey as a startup, I understand, right? So far you're bootstrapped. This is very early stage.
Yes, it's very early right now.
So when are you going mass market? कब आप उसको लेके जा रहे हैं?
We just started this year, like I would say end of January, February. Last month, April, we kind of like did a pre-launch, made a beta available, and right now there's a handful of people that are using it. So our plans are, roughly August or so, it'll be available for use, and around that time we're also.
And what does your team look like so far? How much of your product is being developed by AI?
I always say, when you ask me about my team, if you're asking me how many humans in AI I have, so there's one of the things, I have a relatively small team. So my engineering product development team is human-wise, like I would say eight or so people, but all my engineers, they use Cursor and everyone. So I have a very simple thing, like, whatever you're doing, make use of the things.
Yes.
Because for us, speed matters.
Yes.
Execution and speed, like, we are startups and they should be in that space, but we do multiple release a week. And we're constantly evolving and making use of a lot of tooling that's available. And yes, I do have my business partner, I have my CTO, he's still at IBM. He's involved with me. There are some senior people involved. Head of engineering is a very experienced person. But underneath that, they're very young, junior, 3 to 4 year engineers. And I can also see between my last startup and this one, but we are three times. We are 3 times more productive.
Wow.
In that space, because very, very much very AI native things doing that thing. Plus my cost is, I would say, 1/4. So that's 3 times at 1/4 cost. That's what I'm operating at. But that's a combination fact because, again, being here, I have access to the people. My team is sitting in Pakistan, India, Indonesia, those regions.
I think you have an interesting perspective. One, the reduction of costs. Then also with this region specifically, because you touched on that, the ability to access and be closer at the same time zones roughly, to be able to work with those teams and really create that arbitrage of scaling at a lower cost and really creating great products as well.
Yeah. No, when I started this, because, I did take there's almost an 8-year gap. I was also new here. Majority of my work was in Canada, majority of my relations, people I know are there, over there or Europe. So when I built it, it was a little bit of finding these smart people. But I have a fundamental belief that the people are always in all parts of the world.
Yeah.
Even when you talk about a region, in Pakistan, you would think like Lahore, Karachi, Islamabad, those are big places, and naturally people will be there. In India, Bangalore, Delhi, big places, right?
Yeah.
That's where all the big things are. But no, I have smart people. One of my guys is in a very remote part of Punjab called Gujarat. Works from there. Another person I came across, he did some early work for me. He's in interior Sindh, Thatta. Went to a university. I've never heard of that university. It's called Mehran University. The reason, he couldn't. I think he didn't get the quota or something was off. But and that guy is he had potential and skill to do those things. So I always say now, because of anybody who wants to, with YouTube, with all the resources available, and they have all this power. So if somebody wants to do something, and now it's coming down to those individuals. So on one hand, you can understand there's a lot of things that are available to everyone. But if you're sitting in these, I would say bigger, safer places where that naturally you would think things would happen, don't think those are safe spots, because people in all these spaces can come and make a lot of difference. So
I think that makes me very excited, because definitely that will bring about a lot of change in society, in people's lives as well. Let's take our talk to conclusion. I think it's been very engaging. Bada maza aaya aapse baat karke. Take your perspectives. If you are giving advice to a new founder thinking about setting up his business in AI, what would be your advice? What are the pitfalls they should avoid? What are the things that they should really make use of to make sure that they have a higher chance of success?
I think my advice would be, for me, AI has been an area of passion and interest, just purely from a technology perspective. So it was a very natural thing that I would do something in this space. But I would say the fundamentals still hold. Look for the problems. Understand and even if you have some ideas, focus on the problem that you're solving. Talk to the potential customers, people who would either are dealing with it or would use it. So stay focused on the problem solving part and the product. Using AI, not using AI, these things are subjective. Yes, now a lot of problems, there's a big unlock that AI is providing. But I also say one thing you should not do, try to build an AI thing for the sake of AI. Or try to fit AI solution into some problem
100%.
that doesn't exist. So spend time on it, even though like from my perspective, like at SarahAI, like I understand certain things, but the reason I'm running my beta program is because I'm giving certain things and I'm continuously trying to understand what are the things that we're fixing and solving that are creating that value. So one should pursue problem solving and then value creation. AI, no AI, these things don't matter, quite honestly.
The tools that you use. Varsad, thank you so much for coming here, being a part. We wish you all the best with SarahAI, and we hope that you stay connected with Hub 47 as a mentor, as a supporter, as someone who's involved in our community. बहुत शुक्रिया आपका.
Thank you so much.